Hello, this is David Crowell again from Mortgage Network, and this is Money Matters, second half of the show. So I'm going to give you an overview, a forecast, which is representative of a large group of economists and analysts, and their very positive view of where the economy is headed in 2018. And then I'm going to give you the overview of another group of analysts and economists who have a less positive, more tentative, more sanguine, less sanguine view of the economy coming into 2018. So here it is. I finished off the first half by saying that inflation was still at extraordinarily low level. However, the Federal Reserve is projecting a follow-on increase in its Fed funds rate of 3 or 4 increases in 2018. Why are they forecasting that? Because the Fed forecast, remember the Fed is completely nonpartisan. This is nothing political. The Fed is forecasting that inflation is coming. For those of you who watch Game of Thrones, it's a little bit like winter is coming, which is the extraordinary narrative string that holds the entire Game of Thrones story together. Winter is coming. Well, inflation is coming, says the Fed, and say most economists. It does appear that the economy is now growing at a solid 3% level, which makes a fool out of me. In months and months and months of Money Matters leading up to today, I have said steadfastly that the idea that the economy was, and that the world economy was going to grow at 3% was foolish, that we were stuck at 2% growth in the United States, at least for the long haul. I am having to modify my view. It looks as if the U.S. economy and the developed world economy is indeed growing at about 3%. It looks as if demand for oil from underdeveloped countries and the developing world, the developing economies, is increasing. And it does appear that with GDP increasing, with labor markets extraordinarily tight, that we are headed into a period where inflation is going to kick off. Remember, our recent economic experiences is 8 solid years of basically zero inflation. We've become accustomed to that. Living in an inflationary world is a very different experience. The first and foremost thing that will happen is that you can see it in the 1-year LIBOR. The 1-year LIBOR is an interest rate. It's the London interbank trading rate. LIBOR is now at 2.2%. There's a spread that's opened up between the 1-year LIBOR and the 1-year Treasury. 2.2%. Many of you have mortgages that we wrote back in 2007, 2008, 2009, when those mortgages, those adjustable rate mortgages change. They will move from wherever they are at 3.25% or 3.5%. They are going to move to 2.25% or 2.75% margin plus 1-year LIBOR, which will put them at 4.75% or 5%. So rates are going up based upon inflation going up, based upon LIBOR going up. As inflation begins to take hold in the economy, you will see all sorts of interesting things happen. The question is it an inflation that's going to be containable, or an inflation that is quickly going to provoke negative reactions. Number one, 3% growth is going to cause inflation because of tightness in labor markets, and tightness. You've already seen, we've seen recently commodity prices start to go up, and the next thing that we're going to see is the impact of the new tax bill and the addition of deficits to the U.S. Debt. That's inflationary. That's stimulative to the economy. So the stimulus from the new tax cuts, the stimulus that's built into a 3% growth rate in the economy, and all of these are going to combine to create a very hot growth pattern in the economy, which will lead to either healthy rates of inflation of 2%, 3%, 4%, 5% rates of inflation, or unhealthy rates of inflation that could tip beyond that. So the big question that the economy faces in the next year is, will growth and the inflation that comes with it, from an inflation that's caused by many different factors, will this lead to an economic boom continuing through 2018, ever higher stock markets, enhanced economic activity, growth, and all of the benefits that come from that? The biggest benefit that's hoped for from that growth pattern, from that hotter economy, from that inflationary economy, from those tight labor markets, the biggest hoped for result of all of that is wage growth. Fully 50%, 60% of the U.S. Working economy, laboring economy, have not had a net increase in wages over the last 20 years. So that's the big hole in our economy, is that wage growth simply hasn't taken place. Rich have gotten richer, and companies have gotten richer, and the stock market has gone up for the people who have stock, but wages have not gone up. So in this hotter economy that I've just outlined, the hoped for impact that should naturally occur is wage growth. And it should happen quite quickly. The economy is running out of workers. And that means that companies will start stealing workers from one another, and that part-time workers will be drawn into the workforce, wages will go up, and everybody will be happy and delighted. There is another possible outcome. The other possible outcome is that an over-invested stock market and an over-invested bond market and a fast takeoff in the rate of inflation and the stimulus created by the tax bill will all combine to cause recessionary conditions. It doesn't take too fast a growth in inflation to provoke recession. In other words, the growth just stops. It's a natural economic consequence within a very well-studied economic model, and it's 50-50 at this point. The National Association of Mortgage Bankers Association, top economist, is projecting a soft recession for the second half of 2018. No recession in housing. So in Beaufort County, we should be one of our mainstays, which is our housing market and the growth of our housing market, particularly out in Bluffton, Okatee, and beyond. We should see the economy remain quite stable. because we have a massive housing shortage. But however, Mortgage Bankers Association is projecting a recession second half of 2018 for the reasons I just outlined. So you can see that there's plenty of meat here for future Money Matters sessions. It's quite exciting. Could be an absolutely boom year, 2018. Could end up being a quite abrupt shutdown of the economy in the second half. That's Money Matters for January 5th, and this is DCrowell from Mortgage Network signing off.